haven't live stream in years. I don't think I've ever done like a full length one. Actually, this might be my very first. Okay. So first, I hope this is recording for YouTube. It should be. I wish I could check that, but I'm on my phone. All right. If this is recording for YouTube, I want to say first that I'm really excited that I reached 10K. Hi there. And that I've been waiting to reach 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube for years. I've actually YouTube for like a decade, and my first channel got hacked in and deleted, and it was like it was close to like 7,000 subscribers at the and then it got hacked and deleted to start all over. So finally reaching 10,000 subscribers on YouTube is just such a tremendous feeling for me. And with that good news, I'm also going to be a featured creator at VidCon this coming June. So in 2018, I'm going to be there. Thank you so much, Princess. I'm so excited. So yeah, so I'm going to be, is the sound okay? I hope so. I'm like using the microphone and everything. Yes, so I'm going to be at VidCon in June. Oh my gosh, hello. Yes, being live is really strange for me. I've never done it. But to celebrate 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm here and I'm live, and it's kind of scary. But yes, so I'm here and celebrating that. And I'm really hoping that this is recording so that I can post it on the YouTube channel, and I will caption it afterwards. Okay. So we got those two announcements down. 10K on YouTube, and I'm going to be at VidCon this coming year. So if you don't have your tickets yet, just go to vidcon.com/register, and you should be able to purchase your tickets for the event. Let's lower this a little. Have you guys on my tripod? Oh, okay. And I'm doing this as kind of like a Vlogmas Eve, because that's the other thing that I'm also going to be doing this month, is I'm going to try and do a video every day, starting tomorrow. Yeah, so I have something, I'm in the middle of captioning it right now. Right, I wanted to do this stream for like Vlogmas Eve, celebrating 10K subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, tomorrow's December. So I'm getting all that ready. Also, I kind of felt weird starting Vlogmas and not talking about some serious stuff that's been happening. And if you follow me on like Twitter and Facebook and my socials, you know that a friend of mine died this month. And I've been dealing with that pretty privately. But also trying to like, uplift their work through my socials. My friend's name was Tyler, and they created the hashtag CripplePunk, which was a hashtag that really helped my confidence as a newly disabled person. And we became friends after they created that hashtag, and through conversations with one another learned that, they created something. They created hashtag CripplePunk right when I needed it, right when I needed, that source of encouragement. And it turns out that they were also inspired by something that I created long before that, which was Stop Hating Your Body, which was a blog about finding radical self-love and finding confidence in yourself, and loving yourself, and loving and embracing the body that you're in at whatever state you're in and whatever moment you're in it. So I thought it was really nice that we got to kind of be that light for each other. And so losing them was really hard. I am still really shaken up about it, and I still, like, laptop's over there, looking at their blog and looking at their writing, and trying to kind of put it together and continue to share it with people, because their writing was really powerful and really needed. There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of things that they said that really need to be read, need to be heard. So I'm going to continue doing that. And I wanted to take this live stream to, like, talk about it for a minute, because it's something that really, really affected me this month, and it feels so weird that I haven't really talked about it on YouTube. Because I don't really know how to go about that, but I guess I'm talking about it now. This was just, like, I guess 3 to 5 minutes of talking and rambling, and I don't really know how I would do that on YouTube about my friend. I started working on this art piece inspired by it. That's all I can do when I'm sad, is create things and make art. And I can't show it to you because it's not finished yet, but the idea behind it is something that I'm hoping is going to, like, pull me through all this, which is a phrase, kind of. What it says is holding it down for them, holding them with us. And the intention with that is specifically with, like, chronically ill, disabled, trans deaths. I find such a injustice with it. I'm bridging right now on the 1-year anniversary of the suicide of another disabled trans friend of mine. Her name was Diana, and she died last year in December. Who was another powerful, incredible person. The reason that I bring this up is that that point where my heart is breaking is that these deaths feel really unjust, and they feel, yeah, I mean, that's the majority of it. They feel like unjust deaths. They feel like, well, what death doesn't feel unjust? I don't know. But I think that the society that we live in makes it harder for people in marginalized identities to survive. And so that's something that I feel very angry with. And so it kind of metaphorically feels like a battlefield. Metaphorically, of course. And when I see my friends dying because they don't have access to adequate health care, because they don't have equal job opportunities, all these things that are just systemically are killing them. It's not just mourning the loss of someone that I care about. It's also this horrible, horrible feeling of who's next. And I don't think as I get older it's going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. People are going to keep dying around me, or am I next? God, this conversation is really morbid. Sorry. Um, right. So the thing that is kind of pulling me forward is the phrase holding it down for them and holding them with us. So my friend Tyler and my friend Diana, they both taught me so much. And they were both so powerful, and they did so many amazing things for their communities. I'm sorry. Okay. That I'm going to continue to carry everything that they've taught me and all the work that they've done with me. And so I guess this is a good time to like bring up how conflicting it was to have like really great things happening for me with YouTube at the same time that I had lost a friend. So I was going through terrible depression and mourning and anger about losing my friend. But then I kept getting like emails and really good news about my success with YouTube. So that was so conflicting. I was like, I'm not allowed to be happy right now. I'm not allowed to celebrate right now. Look what just happened. And not enough people, you know, from where I stand. But I think everyone who loses somebody thinks like this. They think, oh, nobody cares, because nobody cares as much as you're feeling in your heart. That's not true at all. A lot of people care about Tyler. A lot of people are really, really affected by their death. And so I didn't feel like I was allowed to celebrate about it. So the thing that, I keep coming back to it, I'm going to keep repeating it. The thing that I tried to tell myself is that every joy that I get, every success that I get, I'm taking them with me. I'm carrying them with me through those joys, through those successes. Especially Tyler, in that I wouldn't be the disabled person, the cripple punk that I am, if it weren't for them. So every step upward is carrying them with me. So I feel like also with depression, you feel like you want to quit. You feel like, well, if they left, so should I. Because what's the point? I say that calmly now, but yeah, depression will make you think that, especially after losing someone. So that's what holding it down for them is. Holding it down for them is like their spirit continues on. Their words, what they said, what they wrote is going to continue on, because you're going to continue being who you are because of those words. You're going to continue uplifting those words and spreading those words. So you're holding it down for them. You're not going to give up. You're not going to quit. You're going to stay with your feet planted on this earth, and you're going to keep moving forward because of who those people were in your life, because of the impact that they had. You're going to hold them with you in that way, and you're not going to quit because of your strength. Does that make sense? Lord. Yeah, so that's the art project that I'm working on over there. But it's not good looking, so I will spare you having to look at some incomplete art. All that being said, I am gonna start with Vlogmas this month. Yeah, I will share it when it's done, I think. If it's worthy of sharing, it might just be for me. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Uh, and so, okay, so I brought up a little bit about how Tyler really impacted my self-esteem in a positive way and my self-confidence. So that's actually something that I'm hoping to talk about during Vlogmas on my YouTube channel. Um, let's see. Ooh, what does that mean? Okay. Number one fan. Hello. Rafael Gomez. I can't really read very well without my glasses. Um, so yeah, so I want to talk about body image and confidence on my channel, something that has been a circulating conversation for quite some time has been like disability closets while dating online and what people prefer to do, as in, like, if you use a wheelchair, do you show your wheelchair in your profile picture? Um, if you have a disability, do you say it in your bio? Do you say it in your messages back and forth? Um, do you wait till you meet them in person? Um, when is the right time to like out yourself as a person with a disability? Positive thing. I had a flare today and my friend went out into the rain to get me food. That's awesome. What a good friend. Yes. That's good stuff. So that's something that's been talked about a lot, is like dating and coming out of the disability closet with like online dating. Um, and I haven't really had any experience with that because either way that I try to do it, I get like weird messages. Like, I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user, which means that I can walk a little bit. Like, it's honestly like my legs are on timers. I stand up and I have about like 60 seconds before they quit on me. The pain levels are too high. And the way that it feels, it feels like I'm walking on rocks or walking on Legos. It's pretty painful. Um, and what's this? Especially when medical needs change your body, like feeding tube, I'm in the chair and haven't dated. So yeah, dating with a disability is so freaking weird. And I'm like newly disabled, so new. I've had EDS my entire life, but it only really started impacting my health within the last 3-4 years. Like, I started declining pretty rapidly when I was 23, and now I'm 27. Uh, so, so what I do in my like dating profiles, I'll have like some wheelchair photos of me in my wheelchair because that's what I have to use to go out to the movies, to the mall, wherever, any space that's bigger than a few feet. I need a wheelchair. But then I also have photos of me in my cane. So you see like some cane photos, some wheelchair photos, and people say weird stuff because they see those photos. They don't even ask me like what the situation is. They just like assume, I don't know. Like, they kind of talk to me like I'm a prostitute, which I'm not, or a sex worker. That's probably the right term. Like, just ask if they can penetrate me. That's super weird. Worst of all, Carrie says, worst of all, I newly came out, so was just coming to terms with that. Oh wow. Now in a chair, plus gay. It's so awkward, the conversations I imagine will happen. Yeah. Yeah. Same. um, I don't know. And I've heard like different things from different people, like specifically a lot of gay men friends. They'll be like, they like are wheelchair users full time, and they won't include the wheelchair in their profile pictures. and will only tell them about it when they, made a connection through messages. I'm not particularly a fan of that, because I feel like you would waste so much energy, having good conversations with people, for them to all of a sudden be an ableist and be like, ooh, wheelchair, deal breaker, goodbye. So then what did I just waste all my time for? Hello again. Do you have any advice for dating in high school with a disability and being LGBT? I giggle because I did not date in high school at all. I would be a very awful person to ask about dating in high school. I was still very closeted in the high school, as far as like liking women. And my tactic to stay in the LGBT closet was to have crushes on boys that had no interest in me, and then I could just cry because they didn't like me. And no one would suspect that the girl crying over boys is actually into the girls. So, what a mission. Currently, I have my OkCupid and everything off, and my excuse is that I'm going through an awkward hair phase. It's growing out from the short hair, so I have no idea what photos to put on my OkCupid anymore without it feeling like a lie. Blue hair, pink hair, short hair, all of it's a lie. So it's not, it's, I'm gonna wait until I have like an actual length of hair, and then I'll retake some photos, and then I'll get back on the dating sites, and then I'll update you and see what is actually going on in there. Yes, I was on OkCupid Florida. Yes, but not anymore, like I said, because it feels really awkward, and not everybody, but a lot of the messages that I've received have really sucked. So I disabled my OkCupid account and my Tinder and everything until I'm ready to come back in there. What's this? Hold on. Carrie says, but I didn't realize I was gay, but I totally liked guys. I never felt anything for it all. Oh my goodness. Yeah, high school's confusing. I get really confused about high school anything. And sadly, I think because I'm younger, maybe. People ask me questions about high school all the time, about accessibility with high school, using a wheelchair in high school, dating in high school, and I was a really weird high school student. I just kind of stayed in the drama room, hung out with all the drama kids and the choir kids, and didn't really do anything. I was really boring. I just did my classes. I had some AP classes. I was like smart. And just did the theater thing. So Audrey says, I was diagnosed a few months ago and your videos have helped me incredibly. Being a freshman, becoming disabled sucks, and your videos have helped. I'm so glad, Audrey. That's amazing. I'm really glad. I wish that I had some videos that I looked to at the beginning of my diagnosis process. The closest, I think, is Claire Wineland. I started watching her videos early on, and they were really insightful. I really like watching her videos. Thespian and a lesbian, says Allie. Aiden says, in high school, I was friends with a bunch of homeschoolers despite not being homeschooled. Wow, how did that happen? That's What? How do you meet? That's probably a bad question. How do you meet homeschooled people? I've never met anyone homeschooled before. I don't think. Well, through the internet, I guess that's how you meet them. I've met a couple homeschooled people. But when I was in high school and in public school, I did not. So there's probably local homeschooled kids that I didn't get the chance to meet. Oh my goodness. Yes, Christina Doherty. She's a doll. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's so sweet. I love Christina Doherty. Oh my goodness, there's these noises happening and I don't know what they are. Oh my goodness. Ah, right. We're like completely off track. Hold on. Aiden says, my mom was friends with their moms, and then we formed an all-girls robotics team together and went to Worlds. What? And added to our friend group. And yeah. What? That's cool. Good job. That's awesome. Okay. Hold on. I want to grab my laptop and check on something. Let's see. I need to like link folks to this. I don't know how to work anything. Sorry, y'all. Sábeme, Jesus. Save me, Jesus. I read that as sábeme. Oh my goodness. It says I'm live on you now on Twitter. This is great. I was real nervous to start live streaming, but not anymore. Is it showing on YouTube is what I want to know, because I did have that connected before. So we're going to check that out now. I don't want to be this high, Jesus. I'm higher than a pigeon. ¿Qué cosa? Mm-mm. It is showing on YouTube. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I can't see anything that you're writing. So you need to come to you now, so I can see you in the chat. Aiden says, Annie, I wrote a research paper about online disabled communities, and I used you as a reference. You and Stina Lane have both been so... Thank you so much. I don't know who Stina Lane is. That sounds incredible. Thank you. Oh my gosh, yay, I'm glad you got notifications too. I don't feel lonely. I'm glad you're all here. Oh my goodness. ¿Qué cosa? ¿Qué cosa? Spanish. Because my parents are South American. Oh my goodness, I look horrible on that YouTube thumbnail. Oh my gosh. What the even heck? That is not flattering. Okay, what the heck? Stina, yes. I will look up Stina Lane. Actually, I have a little notebook. Should write it down. Stina Lane. I'm gonna look them up, I promise. Yes, talking directly to people is amazing. I'm really glad that I'm doing it. Oh my gosh, I can see myself. There's a chat going on in YouTube. This is absurd. Oh my goodness. All right, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you got to come over to you now so I can see what you're writing in the chat. YouTube always picks the worst thumbnails on my vlogs. Dash Carry, yes. I agree. YouTube is not great at selecting thumbnails. Like I said, before you're like crying in all of them. Oh no, that sucks. I hope that there's less crying in your future. Like I said, what is noise that you now keeps putting in my ear? It's like a bzz, bzz. I'm such a freshman at this. I have no idea. Well, did you ever try to do college disabled, Annie? Asked by Aiden. With certain disabilities, not necessarily my physical disabilities, kind of. I just didn't know. I'll explain. So I went to college for 2 years out of a 4-year program. I went to a theater conservatory. I was majoring in acting. And my very in the limelight disability then was my mental health. Because, it was not good. I had a roaring case of body dysmorphic disorder, and under that umbrella is depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety, fun times. Always have had it. I've had depression since I was 12 years old. That, like, long story short, led to a suicide attempt. Awful, yeah. But so all of that was kind of like undiagnosed and undiscussed, and I kept it very private. And I tried to go to acting school with all that mental illness going on. And acting school was just a toxic environment for my mental health. I can't say for a fact that the program was toxic in general, but I know that it was toxic for me as someone with mental illness. It made things worse. The pressure, the stress made it worse. And certain, like, practices and activities also triggered my mental health. So after a confrontation with one of my professors, the same professor who also, this is where the physical part comes in. This is where, like, the physical part kind of trickles in. Was when this same professor who, like, confronted me and said, Annie, you don't see yourself clearly. You're not really in a state where you're seeing reality, and you need to get help. So kudos for that teacher for kind of, like, confronting me about my mental illness, because I needed that. No one had said to me, Annie, you're mentally ill and you need to get help, until that moment. And not genuinely, because some people would say you're mentally ill and you need to get help in, like, the worst, most condescending, most hurtful way. But she genuinely cared. But she was also the same professor that when I said my legs were hurting and that I had trouble standing still for a scene because we had to, like, freeze because my knees kept bending backwards. And she said to me, your knees look fine to me. With, like, the cocked eyebrow and, like, the condescension. It turns out my knees do bend backwards. It's because of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And all my joints do crazy, silly things that they're not supposed to do. So yeah, I tried to survive college with really, really horrible mental health. It was not good. I became a binge drinker. Not a lot of people know that about me. Not a lot of internet people know that about me. But definitely my college peers knew that about me. That was an ugly time. So when people ask me about, like, college and disabilities, I always say just see what your limits are. And also, you know, there's also that differentiation of, like, a disability versus an illness, right? Something that's really, really limiting and hindering your work. And versus something that you might just need accessibility for. You find the way that is accessible for you. It's hard when, like, you can't get out of bed, or you can't, especially in theater school. Like, it just wasn't the right place for me at the time. So my answer to that is always just see what your limits are. I have friends that are doing college right now and also have the same diagnosis as me, and I'm just like, wow, how are you doing it? But they're doing it. You know, everybody's body is different, so you just have to see your limits. Let me try and scroll back here on the feed. Okay, someone said they made a new friend because they have the Future Accessible shirt. That's amazing. Future is accessible. Oh my god, I said that so fast. Yay, that's awesome. See, Ace says, yeah, I had to drop theater because of the stress and I was getting too sick for every meeting. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard feeling like unwelcome in a space that like has welcomed me my entire life. Advice for encountering able-bodied people in the handicapped bathroom stalls. I don't say anything because they very likely could have an invisible or non-apparent disability. So I never confront anybody that walks out of a disabled or accessible stall. Excuse me. Yeah, I might burp. That might happen. Yeah, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. So I wouldn't do that to them. And usually, if they're not supposed to be in there, they are actually really apologetic when they see me waiting for the one accessible stall in my wheelchair. Because that does suck. I will say, when there's a giant hall of restrooms and there's like 20 individual stalls that people keep walking in and out of, but someone is just playing on their phone in the accessible stall and I have to wait and watch people go in and out because the only one I can use is that accessible one. That sucks. But when we talk about people abusing accessible resources, like the accessible bathroom or the accessible parking spaces, and yes, abusing them is wrong, but I never, ever, ever want to encourage people to confront anybody because they think that they're not disabled or do not need that accessibility resource. When we talk about it, I want to bring awareness to it. I want to bring awareness to why you shouldn't take up a resource, a limited resource, if you don't need it. But not for people to go around confronting people on the assumption that they don't need the thing. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't confront somebody just because they are walking or quote don't look disabled. Leave them alone because they might in fact need it. You have to just continue to have these conversations with people, make sure that your friends and family know that if it's a limited resource, they should be respectful of those resources and not use it if they don't need it. And if they do, they should use it, and if they don't have a visible sign of a disability, just cross your fingers that people leave you alone. Because that's what I do. Just leave people alone. All right, I'm going back to the thread. What's going on? Okay. Aiden says, I'm trying to be an environmental engineering major. Whoa, kudos. With undiagnosed chronic pain in all the joints. I've been able to get my work done, but it's hard. I feel you. EDS, which I have. It's a connective tissue disorder, so it makes all my joints messed up. Right now my back is killing me. Try my best to like do something, anything about it. I think I'm gonna have to get like Bengay for it in a second. But it sucks. And just kudos to you, salutes to you for trying to get that done. That's really badass. Good job. Adelzy says, did you end up getting a degree and what field? No, I didn't. I'm a college dropout and I don't think I'll go back unless I find a way that's accessible to me or I find a treatment that gets me up and going again. Right now I spend most of my days in bed because of leg pain and back pain. Like it hurts to sit right? And it hurts to stand. So basically, I spend most of my time flat on my back. But I do have my I have a bed desk where I can like lie down flat and I just like type. And the laptop is like held over my head. So that's good. That's how I get my work done. That's how I do YouTube and stuff. Claire Bear says, also to Ashley, a lot of trans people use the handicap stalls because they're not comfortable using gendered bathrooms. Yeah, accessible stalls are currently, you know, it's not just the stalls, right? There's like, sometimes they create very individual accessible restrooms, and those are the only gender neutral restrooms, where trans people feel safe to use the restroom. So again, you know, I understand that. Ace says, your videos helped me so much to go from hating myself for being disabled to feeling comfortable with myself and finally starting to love myself. Sorry, I couldn't even finish reading that out loud. That makes me so happy. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Aiden says, sometimes even my toes hurt and my arms get sore from riding a bike. It's really weird and not fun. Yeah. No, that's awful. Ooh. If it is something genetic, I do have a video that's gonna come out, I think in 3 days, on the 3rd. Yeah, it's on the 3rd. That maybe will help, about something that I found that might guide you in the right direction for diagnosis. So I'm just gonna put that out there. It is not a diagnosis. It's not a way to diagnose yourself, but just something that might help find what's going on genetically that might be causing the pain. So hopefully that helps. I'm gonna check. My interest is peaked now. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about genetics, period. December 2nd and December 3rd. So it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm planning my Vlogmas videos. I'm so excited. Does anybody in here recall that last year? Yeah, early 2016, I was doing a video every day, kind of, 3 to 5 times a week. It was pretty cool. But then I got real sick. My health just got worse. What is happening? Oh my gosh. There's still stuff happening on the YouTube thread. Should I be looking at it? Tell me to stop looking at it. If you're on YouTube, come over to you now. Alright, what did I miss on here? Okay. Aiden says, I need to see a bunch of specialists. I've only seen a pediatrician so far because my dad, I lost it, did not believe me, and I'm only 18. Whoa. Okay, parents being obstacle when it comes to diagnosis is one of the most irritating things to me. It is so awful. And I know why it happens. I know that a lot of parents, it's like their worst nightmare that something is wrong with their child, that their child is sick in some way. So a lot of them are just in denial of symptoms, and I'll get real frustrated talking about this. Like they totally gaslight younger people. They're like, oh, you're just doing this for attention. You can't be in that much pain. Like all this horrible stuff when they don't know what they're talking about. I can't. Oh, sorry, I have to stretch. I went through a little bit of that in my diagnosis journey. I go through that a little bit sometimes because, you know, pain is invisible, and especially chronic pain. I think I've talked about it before. Like, my face can be pretty blank. when I'm in pain. Like I'm in pain right now. But if I didn't mention it, you wouldn't know just by like the look on my face and the expressions on my face. And I have a little hyper focus on the expressions of my face because I'm neurodivergent, and I had to really actively learn how to communicate things with my face and with my voice. Otherwise, it would usually kind of fall blank and monotone. So, I feel like there's like a correlation. Like, I'm not really good at expressing my pain because I'm working so hard on like communicating with my face. Um, so maybe I don't know how to communicate pain. Um, except for stuff that like looks, for me, it kind of looks kind of disingenuine, like going, oh, ow. I don't know. Trying to make painful facial expressions is hard, but the pain is real. Jesus. That sucks. That was a really weird moment I had. Sorry. Ba, ba, ba. Let's look at what's going on here. Oh, this is a lot. My back hurts. Okay, I'm gonna grab pillows now. Wait, give me a second. I'm gonna grab pillows because this is too much. Ugh. Ow. Okay. I did it. Oh my gosh. Okay. See? Like, the pain level went high enough that I was about to get real vocal. I was about to, like, groan and yell. But you wouldn't have seen it coming. Because, you know, you can't read it on my face. Where was I on the thread? Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I know, it's so much fun to watch me try to read through everything. Audrey says, I was able to self-diagnose despite what everyone, even parents, said. Turned out I was correct. Audrey, same. Same. And on my YouTube channel, I talked about that journey at length in a video called my EDS, My Diagnosis Journey, where every doctor was so mean to me. They laughed at me, they made fun of me, they condescended to me. They were so mean. Like, from the get-go. What was the first guy I saw? I don't remember. It says it all in the video. But I remember, like, the way they spoke to me and the different phrases. They said things like, what do you want me to do about it? And, like, when I suggested that I had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the doctor who wanted to put me under the knife again, I've had one surgery on my left foot, because we thought that I was just having pain in my feet because they were flat, and that wasn't the case. The case is that my joints are collapsing every time I stand up, because EDS means that your bones / your joints don't give a shit about gravity. Or rather, I'm not making sense anymore. Yeah. They love gravity a little too much, probably, is what I meant to say. But I was already suggesting it. I was suggesting that I might have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And doctors made fun of me, and I kept finding matching symptoms. And even my mom was like, stop thinking that you have that. You don't have that. And I think clinically, I didn't have enough going on for a hypermobile type diagnosis. And I couldn't even find a single doctor in my city that like even knew what EDS was to even clinically diagnose me anyway. But thank my freaking lucky stars that I took a blood test, and in my blood test it said, hey girl, you have classical Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So, I mean, I feel really lucky for that. I feel really lucky that a blood test said I have EDS, because if it hadn't, I just would have been in limbo. I just would have accepted, no, you don't have it, and maybe have never known, because I would have quit. I would have freaking quit trying to see doctors and trying to get a diagnosis. I would have just kind of do what I'm doing now, which is be in bed a lot, and I don't know, rot away. The one thing that's saving me is YouTube. The one thing that's saving me is being able to work creatively and finding people that appreciate that work. Don't get emotional. Yeah, that's the one difference, because I don't know, the whole experience left me so traumatized that I don't want to go to the doctor for emotional reasons. Like, I don't want to talk to doctors if they don't know anything about my rare disease. If they don't know anything about EDS, which a lot of them don't. It's very hard to find a doctor that knows what it is. So for that reason, I don't want to go to doctors anymore, because they don't know what it is, and it's hard to find one that does. I also don't want to go to doctors anymore because it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money to go to a doctor and find out that they don't actually know anything about your condition, and they can't help you, or they won't help you because I've asked them. Like, so I have, like, I know I'm going to self-diagnose. Like, I know I have POTS because I know I have dysautonomia. I know that every time I take a hot bath, I come out of it and have to fight passing out. Put my head between my knees, like put ice cold water on my head. Like, I know that when I'm in bed and I jump up out of bed for whatever reason, that my heart goes into tachycardia. Like, I know I have dysautonomia. I know what happens to me in hot temperatures, and I know what happens to me when I move my posture too quickly. But to get the official diagnosis, they told me it would be an $8,000 fee for the first test. Like $8,000. That's barely what I make in a year. So no, thank you. I don't really care. I don't really care if it's like officially on your paper or not. I know what symptoms I'm experiencing. That's like, say that you experience a migraine headache, and a doctor says, okay, well, to officially put your migraine headache on the thing, on your official docs, you have to pay $8,000 for an exam. You can be like, screw you. I know I'm having a freaking migraine headache. So I'm not going to pay $8,000 just so you could write it down on your sheet of paper. It's all very frustrating. Oh my goodness. Sorry, kept missing stuff in the thread. Oh my gosh. I'm reading so much. My parents didn't think anything was wrong. Your videos are the reason why I fought with my parents to get me fully checked out, by Christine. I'm getting scheduled for a spinal fusion surgery. Wow, spinal fusion is intense. I get really nervous about any kind of fusion surgery after what happened with my left foot, which, by the way, that surgery made the pain a whole lot worse. I also have neuropathy in my left leg now. So it's just a lot worse. So I'm a little bit in regret of having the surgery. Though, if I didn't have the surgery, I wouldn't have known that flat feet wasn't the problem. So getting the surgery and the surgery not working was the first step into realizing that something bigger was going on. Reads, or R Leads, says my parents didn't think anything was wrong because my mom has the same symptoms and we always thought they were normal. That's the same thing in my family. Yeah, it says there's no captions for this right now. No, there isn't captions on the live stream. I can captions for the live stream after it's done. So definitely going to be going into Patreon fund for paying for captions for this, because this is going to be a little pricey. Audrey says yes, especially older male doctors assuming I'm a hypochondriac or it's just growing pains. Oh my goodness. Yes. Why? I mean, I know why doctors and adults don't listen. There's just tiers of reasons why people don't want to listen when people say that they're sick. Like I said, parents don't want to think that their kids are sick. So they'll be in denial about that. Doctors are human beings, like any other human beings, and if you are a marginalized person, whether that be a woman or a person of color or a trans person or a fat person, God forbid, doctors are not, they're not some kind of perfect human angel that can just ignore their biases. So they use that against you, unfortunately. They did that to me. They do that to other people, and they will probably continue doing that to people until, like, I don't know, sensitivity training becomes a part of their routine. Like, I think a big part of people laughing at me when I said I have EDS is because I'm a plus size person. Like, it's kind of tricky to tell from like the waist up because I have a small waist, but I have I have like a pear shape, really big bottom. And I think that even if a doctor knows about EDS, they think of it as like a skinny white girl disease. And so I don't fit that image. So that's basically what it was. They're just like, you don't look like what I think EDS looks like, so you don't have it. And I won't even bother testing you for it. This is fun. There's a lot of comments about finding out what's normal and what isn't. I know. Took me a good 24 years to start realizing, oh, not everybody's fingers bend all the way backwards. Not everybody's ankles turn on the 90-degree angle. All that fun stuff. Not everybody has stretchy skin. Didn't know that. Aiden, I'm reading your comment. It says you don't have inflammation or hypermobility. It might be. Who knows? I can't. I'm not an encyclopedia of diagnosis, but I'm really hoping my video on the 3rd can help you out if it is something genetic, which hopefully it is for the sake of diagnosis. It Defines Me says, I asked my doctor about possibly having EDS, but they were like, you'd know if you did. because I did gymnastics as a kid. That's rude as heck. Also, people who do gymnastics in their youth because gymnastics are easier for them because they're more hypermobile than other kids. That's, that's a little clue that you might have EDS. Blah, 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 blah. Carrie says, I look like a skinny white girl, and everyone kept saying, no way, you look too healthy. Yeah, it's double-edged sword. Yeah, people just don't want to think that you're special enough for a rare disease. Special snowflakes with your rare diseases. What the heck? Gosh. Pageant Storm says, what was that? Shoot, my cardiologist stopped treating me fairly because I got a service dog. They often use any excuse they can get away with. What the heck? Y'all, this turned into let's complain about doctors because they suck. Live stream. They do suck. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at y'all. Think you're hypochondriacs. It's not fair. Oh my god. This is killing me. It's killing me. Because like seeing the abundance of like injustice that happens in medical spaces, that's, it brings me back to Tyler, brings me back to my friend Diana, who we're living in this world with constant injustice in medical spaces, and people don't have access to adequate health care, whether it's because their doctors don't know anything or refuse to treat them, refuse to test them, or because they don't have enough money for treatment. And in those cases, what are you supposed to do besides, cry, be in pain, experience your symptoms until you die? I mean, that's kind of what I'm scared is going to happen to me, because I've said it before in a video, I feel very lucky that I'm in a place with my illness that right now, basically the worst of my symptoms are the pain, sleep disorders that sometimes make me miss whole days because I can't wake up. That's like one of the most like heartbreaking things. I hate losing days. I hate losing days because I can't wake up. Like, it makes me like want to cry each time. And don't cry. Be tough. But yeah, so those are like the biggest ways that I'm impacted. I'm kind of immobilized by pain. Like I said, if I sit down, it hurts my back. If I stand up, it hurts my legs. So I get really trapped in like Sleeping Beauty pose. Unfortunately, I can do my freelance YouTube work with that, but not much else. And without money and without doctors that are knowledgeable with my disease and willing to work with me, I'm kind of stuck in a limbo. And very fortunately, this is the lucky part, very fortunately, I'm not in a situation where I need their help. I need treatment or medicine in order to make it to survive to the next day. And I'm really scared for that day. What's going to happen the day that, I need a feeding tube or a breathing tube or something that's life or death, and doctors still won't help, or I still don't have the money. So that's really scary. But for now, let's live in the present. That's not going on right now. So I can only just be thankful for my situation and that I currently don't have the resources for a bigger situation. Aw, Ace says, I hate losing days because I can't wake up to. I do end up crying every time. I cry when I think about it too much. I just hate it, especially if I had something to do and I didn't get to do it. Is the audio coming okay? I'm wearing this because it has a microphone and I'm trying not to speak too loud because other people are sleeping. So I hope that the sound is okay. Oh my goodness. Oregano says, I'm gay and my psychiatric disorders had left me with physical disabilities. Wow. So thankful for your channel and for showing how to accept yourself. Bless you, Oregano. Thank you. Thank you, and I'm wishing you the best. Elizabeth says, I'm not a special snowflake with one of those fancy diseases. Nope. You're not cool enough. Just kidding. Oh my gosh, that is the most frustrating one. Christina said, a pediatric rheumatologist told me I didn't have EDS because I didn't have long arms, nor was I tall. Christina, yes, correct. That's Marfan syndrome, not EDS. EDS can look like this. EDS can look a lot of different ways. My mom very likely has EDS. She's a chubby, petite, brown woman, so it's got a whole lot of different looks. Aiden says, at this point, my dad thinks my pain is caused by some weird combo of vitamin deficiencies. Ah, Jesus. That sucks. And I wish I had any advice for how to deal with like gaslighting. Like I know that it really affected me. It really impacted me. To have to deal with that from both my parents, really, my mom. I don't like talking about her online too much because she's generally a very private person. But yeah, her denial of EDS and all my doctors' cruel denial of EDS, it made me feel really unsafe. To this moment, it makes me feel really unsafe. Like I can't trust the people that I should be able to trust for help. And that really sucks. A says, I have EDS and my partner has Marfan's. We often get confused for siblings because we have similar facial features and the same hair color. Wow, that's cool. Elizabeth says, oh God, have you tried yoga? Oh, to Carrie's or Dad to the rescue. Dr. Dad to the rescue. I'm told I just need yoga. Okay, fun fact for anybody who doesn't know. So with connective tissue disorders, specifically EDS, I know, yoga, you got to be really careful if you do yoga because if you stretch your ligaments, they stay stretched and therefore more fragile, more likely to dislocate, and causing you more pain. So yoga is actually the opposite of a good idea, unless you're doing very careful, very specific types of yoga. But general yoga, you should be very careful with that when it comes to connective tissue disorders. What's going on? Elizabeth says, like, attempting to do yoga will cause me to be crying in pain for a week. Yeah, accurate. Ooh, my favorite response to me having EDS has been, okay, well, why don't you just consume more collagen? That's not how it works. EDS means that my body creates defective collagen, not that I need more of it. And if I put more of it in my body, then my body will make that much more collagen defective as well. So, no, that's not how that works. Jesus. Adele Z says, why don't you go into the medical field? You're really knowledgeable. No, I would not. I mean, that's very sweet. But I've had to learn a lot about my own illness for survival's sake. Don't really know. I can't say that I'm an encyclopedia about illnesses. I know mine pretty well. And I've studied it as much as I can. And I still study it to this day. There's always so much new information. But I think emotionally I'm not equipped for the medical field, much less physically. Like, as I mentioned before, I have trouble even getting out of bed, sleeping beauty status, horizontal the majority of the time. And I think that in order to do medical stuff, you probably have to not be horizontal sometimes. My mom would love it if I worked in the medical field. And she said the same thing, because I'm so knowledgeable about EDS, that I should. I don't think so. Think so. But that's not where my passion lies. My passion lies in creativity. And so I'm actually kind of grateful to my illness that it kind of forced me to focus on that. And when I, got cursed to stay in my bedroom and stay in my bed is when I really started focusing a lot more on YouTube. And now a lot of wonderful things are happening. So, even rare diseases have their silver linings. They have a few silver linings. My life is really different now that I've gotten really sick. Listen, earlier in this stream, we talked about how I used to be an alcohol abuser. And with that, I behaved very badly. So now I'm safe in my room the majority of the time. I don't go out very much anymore. I don't drink because I can't. I mean, not that I don't drink ever, but I live in Miami and I don't live that lifestyle anymore. Because I can't. Because it's painful and difficult for me to get out of the house. So silver lining, I'm safer now. Okay. I have made friends that I wouldn't have made if it weren't for my illness. Like it is my illness. It is our illnesses that connected us. And I'm very thankful for those friends, for those people that I have in my life now. I'm thankful to my illness, or I would have never known them. And we had a first original silver lining, right? Oh, that being sick and being forced to stay in my room and stay in my bed the majority of the time has forced me to do the only thing I can do, which is creative stuff. To write, and to make videos, and to do. I think that becoming sick has left very little room for me to be active and do stuff. So with that little amount of ability and time, I want to do the thing that I'm passionate about. So that was a really long way of saying I don't really want to work in the medical field. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Elizabeth says, yeah, I don't have EDS, but everyone who hears about how I have issues with pain always suggests yoga, like it's the magical cure. It is not. Yoga is not. Everyone thinks that they have magical cures for stuff. Why? Then they should work in the medical field. Ace says, I literally went to a health food store 2 weeks ago and they recommended me taking collagen. Why are people like this? Why do they do that? Gosh. R. Lees says, I was terrible at gymnastics. Everyone else could do cartwheels and I just collapsed. It was apparently very entertaining. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be different for everybody because your joints might just collapse if you're, because I didn't really experience like hardcore dislocations, subluxations, um, until I was a lot older, as in like until I turned 23 is when I really started feeling my joints like totally like coming loose. Um, when I was younger, I had the thing that I would roll my ankle all the time. And so prior to being a college drunkard, I would like fall down all the time, and and people would like think that I was drunk, but I wasn't. I had EDS. Um, so in PE, oh my God, in PE I couldn't. This is in elementary school. God, my running was horrible. I loved to run, but my running was horrible. And so when we did laps, I would always come in last, heaving for air, red face, from probably mast cell activation or from dysautonomia, who knows. But the one thing that I could do was like the stretch exercise where you put your legs in front of a table and you like put your fingers out as far as you could, or you try to like touch the floor without bending your knees. I did those things, but I think it's because the coach couldn't tell that my knees were bending backwards. So, right? I wasn't technically bending my knees because they're not supposed to bend backwards. Oh. Pageant Storm says it's just different being knowledgeable because you have to be versus because it's something you're passionate about or want to do with your life. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I feel like I don't think I would have learned about EDS if I didn't have it. I have it, so I have to learn about it for my own sake, but it's not something that I'm necessarily passionate about. Let's see. Adelzy, the argument that I've heard is that it's dangerous to diagnose yourself because you might be seeking treatment that isn't applicable to you. Maybe, but a doctor can easily make the same mistake that you did. And it happens all the time. That's why, I mean, look at my situation. The doctors didn't want to diagnose me at all, and therefore left me without any treatment when I should have been prescribed at minimum physical therapy for my EDS symptoms. I only had a physical therapy for after my surgery, and then they didn't prescribe it to me anymore. And I think it's because I went without physical therapy that my body just got like worse and worse. But who knows? Maybe with physical therapy it would have continued to get worse anyway. I don't know. But the same mistakes that you can make, and you're the person who is in your body 24/7 and knows your symptoms 24/7, knows how high the pain levels are. Like with me with dysautonomia, knows how often you have a fainting spell, knows how often your heart goes into tachycardia. Like you can make those calls because you know what's happening. In my case, I can't even seek treatment because it's too expensive. I can't even seek the testing because it's too expensive. So I don't know. Was that in reference to like self-diagnosis is invalid? I think because I think people who self-diagnose are pretty brave. I definitely have a lot of trouble, a lot of anxiety about self-diagnosing and taking on a label that perhaps isn't mine in every respect, whether it's like an LGBT label or a medical label. I'm like, I don't want to label myself with something that I'm not genuinely a part of. So I don't know, is that just me? I feel like most people would be very anxious about that. I think most people do not want to, you know, title themselves with something and be wrong. So if someone says, I am this or I've got this, is because they genuinely feel with all their might that they are it or they have it. And they've probably taken a lot of time to think about that before they ever said that out loud. Or that just might be me. I don't know. I don't know how other human beings think, but that's how I think. Let's see. Oh gosh, I'm reading a few comments about people having to quit jobs. Aiden says, I would always come in last because I was born with pronating feet. I had to wear braces as a kid. I'm not exactly sure what pronating feet is, but I was born bow-legged. I was supposed to wear braces, but then a doctor said, when I was 1 year old, the doctor said, oh, you were supposed to put them in braces when they were born, but you didn't. Now it's too late. So they just left me with crooked legs and never put braces on me. Okay, fine. I'll just live in pain with crooked legs for the rest of my life. Thank you. Our lead says, I could never run correctly. It was always sort of a gallop. Probably. I've never watched myself run, but that's probably what happened. Oh man. Aiden says, and sometimes my feet will just bend in randomly when walking. I mean, sounds a little bit like a connective tissue problem. It defines me. I'm catching in the middle of something and I don't know where it began. Oh, okay. You were saying that you had to give up sign interpreting. Oh no, because you couldn't put a career on hands that might quit on you. Yeah, I understand that. Ace says, first I got theater ripped away, then ASL, now art. Well, it seems like the conversation is moving towards losing ability, which I also hope to talk about in Vlogmas. So prior to about 4 years ago, I was pretty able-bodied. Like I said, I was a runner. I used to run on the treadmill. Probably not well, but I enjoyed it. I also worked like an 8-hour job as a host, standing up all day, and I think that did damage because I would have to wear heels, and the floor was crooked brick. So I probably damaged my ankles and my feet doing that job. It's not their fault. None of us knew that I had EDS and that I would be doing that kind of damage. I did 3 jobs, actually. I was a hostess, and I did Uber driving, and I also was a caretaker. So, caretaking in the morning, hostessing at night, and then I would Uber drive until like 6 a.m. So basically I would like sleep for 4 hours, and the rest of my day was work. 4 hours? Yeah, from like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then I would do the whole day over again. So my life was really busy, but I was also kind of on a hamster wheel. Again, I cannot say enough how much of a silver lining getting sick was. Because if I didn't get sick, I would still be doing the hamster wheel and probably going nowhere, just working to pay the bills and never moving anywhere. So I don't know. I feel like I'd already kind of quit theater before my body said that I couldn't do it anymore. Because I wasn't doing theater. I was doing service that had nothing to do with theater. And then when I started getting sick and uh, you know, that feeling of like go from I'm working 8 hours a day standing up to all of a sudden the pain wouldn't let me, and it was like a slow decline. Like one day after 7 hours, I would have to tell my boss, I can't stand up anymore. Can I please sit on the stool and greet guests? But then my limit got shorter. It would be 5 hours. I'm like, boss, the pain is too much. Can I please sit on the stool and greet guests? Then it would keep decreasing. 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Then I couldn't stand up for more than like 5 minutes before the pain became so much. How weird. I'm 27 now, and just how weird. Like I tell the story and I realized that was a 23-year-old. Like 23 feels so far away from me now. But still also feels like yesterday. But that was a 23-year-old who was experiencing such drastic and relatively speedy loss. Like this happened all within months. So I just found myself at one point I couldn't stand up anymore. Not without tremendous pain. And as someone that wasn't used to that yet, like I couldn't really stand up at all. Like now that I've gotten used to the pain a little bit, I can manage 60 seconds, maybe 5 minutes maximum if I'm like lifting one leg up onto a chair, trading each leg, whatever. But at that time, it just kind of felt like, well, I can't function with this pain. Right. As time went on, so I lost my legs, and then I kind of lost my back, because my back has herniated discs, and basically my lower back is just horrible. It's just a bag of bones, like the rest of my body. And so it hurts to sit, and I have to try and keep my back on a recline. I think two of the worst moments were when my hands would start locking. So my hands would do a couple different things. They lock, so I'll be touching something or on my phone or something, and all of a sudden they'll click, and I can't move them. They become paralyzed a little bit until they come back. Also, the other thing that started happening was my fingers are too hypermobile, and so just today I tried to press the button to open the microwave, and my finger bent all the way backwards, and the joint that stems from my finger to my wrist, all of a sudden the joint in my wrist pulled, and my finger bent all the way backwards. So it's things like that. I'm my body is falling apart. I lose my legs, I lose my back, I'm losing my hands. I'm also, my eyes and ears, their ability has decreased. my vision has worsened and my hearing has worsened. So I'm just like, EDS is going to take literally everything away. Again, the important thing for me is to focus on the present and focus what I can do. And I mean, everything is scary, right? You look at the past and you are nostalgic for the past. You mourn the past. And if you look to the future, it's terrifying. Because, yeah, Ace says, are eye and ear problems EDS too? I didn't know that. EDS affects pretty much everything in your body because collagen is everywhere. So it affects your eyes, it affects your ears, it affects your heart, your lungs, your joints, your muscles, your stomach, your digestive system. Yeah, EDS affects like every single thing. The only thing that it's kind of good for is that it sometimes gives you nice skin. Soft skin, like velvet. Velvet? They keep all the diagnosis sheets say that EDS gives you velvet-like skin. I think it's more like silk. It's like silk skin, not velvet. Velvet feels furry. Why would your skin feel furry? Whatever. Anyway. And also, here's the thing about losing abilities. A good friend told me when I was like really, really grieving for my hands. I was like, I'm losing my hands, and I was just like crying. I was like, I can't lose my hands. The function of my hands. And she told me to remember that that loss isn't always going to be linear. That things can sometimes bounce back or come back, especially with EDS. That like we're likely to panic with like high pain levels, and because pain feels like it's going to be forever. I had one of the worst pains I ever had this year, which was a trigeminal neuralgia flare, which gets triggered by TMJ because there's like nerves here. And when that was happening, they don't call it a suicide disease for no reason. Like, if the pain is so high, the only thing you can think of is how to end it. So that was really scary. But here I am today, functioning, talking to you. So even though high pain levels feel like forever, there's still a chance that, you know, things can balance themselves out again. So I was having a rough month of my hands locking, and they're still hypermobile, but the thing that changed is my acceptance of it. Like, it's so new when you're just losing it. When I just start realizing that my fingers bend backwards and that they don't withstand pressure. When I'm just learning that my hands lock sometimes. It's very scary when it's new and it's just happening. But with time, I don't know. Like, I think it's just a matter of like, I accepted it, I got used to it, and so now, like, today, my finger bent backward when I tried to press a button on the microwave. And I moved on. Didn't cry about it, get upset. I'm like, well, this is just how my body is now. So, it's fine. Bye, our leads. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, you're the best. Ace says my old glasses don't help much and they just hurt me. Yeah, you probably need new glasses. I need new glasses too. I'm just sticking to my old ones as long as I can. I'm just gonna check the laptop again. Message restricted. Someone sent me a restricted message. What does that mean? Someone use a bad word? Probably. Ba ba ba. Oh, yeah. People are saying my eyes are greatly affected. Skin is very soft, but it tears so easily. Yes, the skin, EDS skin is very sensitive. I was just saying how my glasses, the old ones, they keep cutting into my nose, so into the skin, because the skin is so sensitive. So I have to take breaks and not wear the glasses and kind of have to force my eyes, even though, like, if I relax my eyes, everything's blurred. But if I do the squinting thing, I can make out what the words are. Does EDS skin stuff do anything weird with tattoos? I know a lot of people with EDS that have plenty of tattoos. There's just a couple things that can happen. They can bleed a lot because the skin is so easily broken. And somebody might be going too hard and then you bleed a lot. But I think the other thing that can happen is that the tattoos also kind of like bleed and have to be redone. I pointed there because that's where my tattoo is. But yeah, EDS hasn't stopped anybody from getting tattoos. I know plenty of people with EDS who have full sleeves still getting tattoos. They love their tattoos, so I don't think it should stop anybody if you have EDS and want a tattoo. My skin feels like a peach, Carrie says. Peach? My face skin feels a little like a peach, maybe. My hand skin feels silk, silk, silk. Like if someone said, is this skin or silk? I would say this is silk. And it's skin. It's my EDS skin. I'm trying to get through all your messages. I love all these comments about skin. This has been such a weird live stream, but I'm glad I did it. Gosh. I should probably end this stream soon, though, because this is gonna be tough to caption. Ooh, we're talking about pain remedies at the bottom here. KT tape tears my skin off if I'm not careful, says Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Hi. Yeah, I've heard that. My skin is sensitive and will tear, but if I'm careful with KT tape, I'm very lucky it doesn't have to rip off my skin. So I have like medium sensitive skin, I guess. Oh God, y'all are talking about pain meds at the bottom of this thread. Oh, pain meds. I don't use pain meds. They don't work. Unless I'm really, really, really desperate. I'll like attempt a placebo effect. I have some tramadol, I think. But when I used to use it, I was like, this garbage doesn't work. So I just gave up. But I do have some leftover that I think like on really high pain days, I'll just take them and try and placebo effect myself to like calm down. I think just like popping it in is helpful for anxiety. So like if you can like at least minimize your anxiety, then the pain will calm down. That's what I think, at least. I know that my go-to method is like to take sleeping pills, so I will sleep instead of feeling the pain. So is that bad? Am I a bad role model? Sorry. I'd rather sleep than be in pain. Like right now, my back is really hurting a lot, and so what I'm gonna do once I get off the stream is I'm gonna use, what is it that I have? The green one. It's like a green BioFreeze. It's a BioFreeze cream that I use. It's kind of like Bengay. So I'll use that. I might use my shoulder massager thing that like beats down on my shoulders and on my back. Lie down flat on my back, maybe put a pillow under my back to like arch it up. Wow, that feels good already. And I'll probably take some sleeping pills to try and sleep so that I don't feel the pain anymore. That is the most awful sounding sentence. Sorry. BioFreeze, I don't think it really does anything. I think the odor of it calms me down. Like I said, I think that anxiety is like a certain percentage of pain. So if I can calm down my anxiety, there goes that little tiny percentage of the pain. That might just be me though. I don't know. I'm not gonna, paint with a broad brush, so that's everybody. I think that's just me. Alright, y'all. I think we're gonna wrap up this stream. Did I take any notes? Okay. Yeah. I think I've said everything that I gotta say. So just to refresh. Happy 10K to me. I'm really happy and really thankful, really appreciative to finally have made 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Really excited about that. And that I'm going to be at VidCon 2018 in Anaheim, California. So if you're going to go there, I really hope to see you there. Also, I got to talk a little bit about Tyler and Diana, my friends who have passed, and check in with y'all that I'm okay, I'm stable, and that I'm missing them a lot, and I'm working through all that. This was, I feel like this was the right place to talk about it, because I didn't feel right yet making a video about it on YouTube. So I'm glad this was candid and that I could talk about it here. And also, speaking of Tyler, who was a great source of my newly found self-confidence as a disabled person, that I will also be talking about confidence and body image on my channel for Vlogmas, which I'm going to do starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of Vlogmas, and I have a video that's getting prepared right now. I'm very excited. And the goal is going to be a video every day until Christmas. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Can I write it down? Can I link you guys? I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and link it. Hold on. / That way, if you are not currently subscribed, you can subscribe to the channel. Come join the family. Gosh, I'm taking forever to type this. Yay, but we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff. I'm real excited. That's the link. I don't know if you can click it or not. Yay, I'm excited to make more videos too. Yay! On the 4th day of Vlogmas, you turn 19. Oh, happy birthday. That's so exciting. Birthday twins in the freaking thread. That's awesome. Okay. All right. So everyone stay tuned for Vlogmas. I'm really happy that you all came. This was really fun. I hope to do more live streams soon. And I'll see you all eventually. Okay? All right. Love you. Bye.